one.
Hello, hello, and welcome to Xbox International Airlines. We are now in flight number 49. Yes, and hey, to all our audio listeners, if my audio is really bad, sorry guys, I'm in Aruba, so I can't take my big microphone around me. So, yes, I'm actually wearing a headset, so it might not sound right. Well, guys, today we have a really special and awesome episode because, man, what a day! We had a developers direct early in the day, and not only that, we have such an awesome guest today, Mr. Jedi Pete. Brother, how are you doing today, sir?
Yeah, good brother. I cannot wait to talk about the developer direct. We had a massive watch party. There was about 12 or 13 of us in there watching it. Such a good show. Oh my god, Forza Motorsport looks amazing. Redfall looks better every time we see it. I actually played Hi-Fi Rush. It's not bad. We got a secret drop which I loved. Cannot wait to talk about it with you guys. Thank you for having me.
Man, thank you so much for joining us today, Mr. Jedi Pete. Man, we're gonna have a really fun show tonight. Sourblow, tell us, brother, how are you doing today, sir?
Oh, I'm doing wonderful. It's a little bit cold up here, but doing great. Listening to you, you sound like I don't know what plane you're flying right now. Sounds like there's some turbulence down over there.
Really?
No,
Oh,
I'm kidding. I mean, it doesn't sound as great as always, but
yeah. You know,
but
I try my best, man. I try my best, but hey, this is all I got because I mean that microphone is too big for me to take. I need to look for Google small microphone. If anybody know a small microphone that I can take with me in travels, please tell me so that way I can bring it with me. So that way this thing never happens again. Speaking about microphones and one that is silent over here, Mr. Silent Cypher, how are you doing today, sir?
Hey, crazy. Doing great. Doing great. It was a good day from what I can tell. I'm still catching up on it because it was kind of a busy day at work. But from what I can tell, seems like everyone's pretty excited about what we saw today. So I'm looking forward to covering it, and it's great to have you. I mean, granted, you're on the budget economy flight right now. It sounds like, but I'm glad you're with us nonetheless, sir.
Oh man, I'm just happy to join you guys today, man. We're gonna have such a good time, such a lot of fun, man. And me, I'm doing excellent. I'm right now in Aruba, guys. Been a busy week for me. Lots of work. My internet on my cell phone is bad. Everything's just, I thought my cell phone was factory unlocked, which it wasn't, and I cannot unlock it, so I had to wait to get home to fix that. But yes, other than that, bros, everything good with me. So, Jedi Pete, tell everybody what have you been playing, brother?
I have been on a Fortnite binge. I know. I love that game. It's so much fun. Yeah, I've just been playing it with Risk. Anybody who wants to play with me, anybody that wants to play Fortnite, I'm down. I've just been on a massive Fortnite binge recently. I played a little bit of Contrast, the game released by Microsoft Studios, I don't know, a few years ago. Just needed to get those three achievements for my weeklies, and I got a little bit hooked on it. So I've been playing a little bit of that as well.
yeah, real
Man,
quick contrast.
what's up?
I played it last year because I was curious about the studio behind it. I wanted to see a little bit more on their games. I have played a little bit of We Happy Few, and Contrast is it's a very amazing game. So I'm glad I got to it.
Yeah,
All
I
right,
was
all
really
right.
enjoying it as well. Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Sour Blue, what have you been playing, sir? I mean, seriously, this past week, what have you been playing?
Well, previous weeks, I'll say 2 weeks, I've been playing a lot of Metro, and I got into Metro Exodus. And after a while, I kind of got a little bit fatigued of the Metro. So I decided, because I am after Metro, I do want to play Atomic Heart, which it's coming very soon. And I thought, maybe I should take a break because if I keep playing Metro, which is this one is a much larger game than part one and part two. By the time I get to Atomic Heart, I'm gonna be a little bit fatigued of like shooters, first person shooters, etc. So I decided to try something different, and I started Gotham Knights, which the opening was awesome. I only got to play the opening, and I got to play a little bit more of Vampire Survivor. You know, you always got to go back to Vampire Survivors and get a few runs.
Why is that game so addicting? There's something with that game that seriously just says, let's get back into it. Let's play it a little bit more. Really, such an addicting game. So much fun. And speaking about addicting, Silent Cypher. Tell everybody what you've been playing lately, brother.
I don't like how you tie me to the word addicting, but I will say with
You are.
with
Your
Vampire
voice.
Survivors though, I totally get what you're saying though. Like they truly they've mastered that 30 seconds of fun type of phrase, like what Halo, the original Halo, was talking about. Was the idea of locking in that 30 seconds and just wrapping it around on repeat constantly. When you play that game, it just hours melt when you play that game. I swear, it just melts and time just flies right by. As far as what I've been playing this week, so just like Sour, I've been diving into the Metroverse. He got me kind of interested in that because I'd realized I'd just never played those games all the way through. So I did finish 2033, and then I also just finished Last Light over this weekend, I think it was. So I did just start into Exodus. However, in the weekend, I had other stuff pop up. And that being, I had some stuff I had purchased online finally show up to the house. And so now I'm a proud owner of another Xbox 360, as well as a proud owner of a few Guitar Hero guitars and pretty much every Guitar Hero and Rock Band game that came out during that era. I'm introducing my kids to playing a bunch of Guitar Hero, Rock Band, all that stuff, and we've been having a lot of fun with that so far. But that's really about all I've been on. That's kept me super busy. I've fed that itch that I've been missing, that hunger for Guitar Hero, and I just wish that they'd bring us a new one at this point, or a new Rock Band, because I forget how, speaking of addictive, I forget how addictive those games are.
Awesome.
But what about you?
That is actually a question that I'm gonna try to evade it this week because
Uh-huh.
I know, I've been traveling, so yeah, I traveled on Sunday,
Mm-hmm.
and I actually got the One X player. I was playing Doom Eternal on the One X player, and after that, just to be honest with you, I haven't played it. Just been super busy. Other than that, yeah, once in a while, I hop on my Vampire Survivor. My Vampire Survivor is pretty cool. I love that game like you guys do, and it's all really addicting. I'm trying to get the scroll of Mel, whatever, Malboja. I don't know what the heck that scroll is, but I'm trying to get the damn scroll. But it's hard though. It's hard. But either way though, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, man. It's crazy fun. Game is the best, I'm telling you, and it should have won Game of the Year. Seriously, it should have won it. At least
Wasn't
in
that
the
this? Wasn't
what?
that the same scroll that you were trying to get last time we talked?
Yep, I haven't got it because there's like this thing that every time like it collects like skulls and everything, it gets bigger, 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 and all of a sudden it doesn't fit in the screen. It's like it's so big.
Man, for a man such as you, comparable to Chuck Norris, I would have figured that you would have long beaten this quest at this point.
Have you beaten it
The
though?
man of 150 beers.
Have you beaten it?
The thing is, if he is Chuck Norris, his wife would be the Bruce Lee. So.
Mm. Ah,
That's weird.
all right. That was
I
really
heard
weird.
it was more than 150 beers silent. That's what I heard, bro.
More.
More.
The
I
tail,
did, yeah.
tail
Well,
gets
you
bigger.
know how Louis
Story
flexes, man.
continues.
What? I've always left it at 150 beers. I have not changed it,
Mhm,
man. I have not
mhm,
changed it. It's 150 beers. So don't ever
Uh,
say I had some stuff. Speak about him
I don't
50
know. I heard
beers.
it's been creeping up, bro.
mhm.
Well, no.
It's
It's still at 150 beers.
173.
It's still 150 beers. 173? Nah. Speaking about 173 beers and serving, the guest here on the show, Sourblow. Tell us what's the flight itinerary this week, man.
All right, I made it pretty easy for the YouTube listeners because I have on the left side I have a little check mark here with what we're gonna go over. However, for our audio listeners, which now we are available at Spotify, so if you want to listen to us on the go, you can go to Spotify, look us up Xbox International Podcast or XBI Podcast, and you will find us there. So today, what we will cover, we would know a little bit about our guest, which is Jedi Knight Peter. Awesome to have you here. And we will talk about actually three games that we're excited to talk about, which he's super excited about. And those are his three most anticipated games, which is Flintlock, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Stalker 2, which I'm so hyped for Stalker 2. And we will also talk about what happened today, the Xbox Developer Direct, which was pretty cool. And then if we have time, of course, we will cover the poll of the week. So, Captain, take it away.
All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Captain Sour has turned on the subscribe button. If you haven't already subscribed, please do so. Please stow your food and beverages next to your desk, underneath your seat, or in front of you. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelt, and also make sure that you've hit that notification bell. We gently remind you that smoking and drinking are not prohibited on this flight. However, any weird talk about being big or small or lifting beds is strictly prohibited. We're looking at you, crazy. If you have any questions about this evening's flight, please don't hesitate to ask one of our flight panelists. Thank you.
All right. So let me start right away and ask our guest real quick. I'm curious, and I want to know a little bit more about you, Jedi Knight. I know you are a member of the Xbox Infinite podcast. If you listeners have not listened to the podcast, it airs every Friday, and I believe it's 7 p.m. Is that right, Jedi?
7 p.m. Eastern, bro.
Yes, 7 p.m. Eastern. So go check them out. They have an awesome crew, and they're great guys. And I would like to know, Jedi, how did you get into podcasting, and how did you get your name, Jedi Knight Peter? Where did that came from?
I've had my name, God, for as long as I can remember. So ever since I got my OG Xbox, I chose Jedi Knight Peter. I chose it myself. I just thought it sounded cool. I love Star Wars. I always have. Return of the Jedi was the first movie I ever got taken to when I was a kid.
Nice.
So, yeah, long-term Star Wars fan. I met Risket, I don't know, a little over a year ago, and we just hit it off as friends straight away, and he was starting up a podcast, and he invited me, and that's about as much as the story as, there is, really. He really wanted to get a show together. We had Infinite Umbra, who's in the chat. Shout out to my Xbox Infinite brother. And us three really just put our heads together and came up with the idea for the show. Xbox Infinite was a name that I came up with. I attributed it to Halo Infinite. Halo was, really big at the time, and I thought that the name really, really fit. Had absolutely nothing to do with Infinite Umbra, if that's what you're thinking. Although he does like to claim it. And yeah, it's been a blast. Like, we've been going for a little over a year, a little bit more, a few more episodes than you guys, but it's been so much fun. And there's just so many people that I've met in the community that I've just had a ball with, you guys included. We got to do a collaboration one day, guys. Xbox
Yes.
International meets Xbox Infinite. That'd be so much fun. I've been watching podcasts for a while. I typically started with Dealers Podcast, RDX. I met everybody through there. I'm so thankful to those guys. I met Timmy there. I met everyone there. And I love this community, and I just want to support it any way I can.
Yes, the definitely the Xbox community, I gotta say, not because I'm in the Xbox podcast, but I think the Xbox community in general, it's amazing. Like, I really love the community, and I really like, the way the Xbox community basically interact. But speaking of
What?
what was that?
We always fight each other though.
I mean, there's a little bit
It's
here
all
and
out of
there,
love,
but
Louis. It's all out of love.
we always see that everywhere. But in general,
I know.
mostly, at least the people I try to hang around and the people I
Yeah.
try to follow, they, to an extent, they keep it clean. I mean, they throw their jabs here and there, but we try to keep it clean.
Okay, quick question though: is my microphone better now?
Actually, it is. Yes.
Oh,
It is,
right.
man,
I
it is.
fixed that sucker. Let's go.
Yeah, we don't try and keep it clean on Xbox Infinite. Just saying.
Oh, yes, definitely not. But speaking of Xbox Infinite, you guys are you said you started as 3. I believe you're 4 now, right?
Yeah, Doom Cutie, absolutely lovely member in our community. She's awesome. She's a real gamer. She's a gaming journalist. She really knows her stuff. She's got an awesome setup now, and she's just really been added a lot of value to our podcast, I think. So yeah, come check us out. Like she's amazing. Like we have a really good flow on our show. I really do like it. Risket's like a joker, but he is a great host, and he puts so much work in the background that a lot of people don't see. I get that he can be, a little bit abrasive with his console warring, but really he just cares about this community. He cares a lot. He's put a lot into the podcast, and he's done a lot of work. And Umbra has been doing spaces. When spaces first started, he is the consummate professional. He really, really is. He's brilliant at what he does. He has a voice that makes women pregnant just by hearing it. And he's a really good friend.
I mean, console war, it's if you keep it fun, just it's all right. Like I'm okay as long as you keep it fun. Like as long as you don't take it to the extent, I think it's all fine. But it's kind of cool because you guys are 4 members. Xbox International is conformed of 4 members, and that's a special. That's a great way to go into our next segue, which is called the 4Cs, which we're gonna ask you 4 questions. One of them, let's begin right away with what's your favorite cereal?
Nutrigrain. I don't know if you guys have it, but I love my Nutrigrain.
Nutrigrain.
I
Oh.
think it's in the UK as well, Silent, if I'm correct. But yeah, I love my Nutrigrain. It's like a malt flavored cereal, and it's fantastic.
I haven't tried it actually. Have you tried it, Crazy?
I've eaten everything in this world, man.
Sure, like the 150 beer. I know.
It's good. Nutrigrain is good, man.
Yep.
It's this weird. It's the thing. Isn't Nutrigrain the one with the little square things?
Yeah,
See,
It's
they're like they're
similar
not
to mini
quite
wheat.
circles, but yeah, they're like oval shaped, and they have like three holes in them. They're
mm-hmm.
delicious, man. I mean, if you guys can get hold of them, try them out. I
Oh,
think they're great.
no,
Of
crazy.
course.
Oval does not sound like squares. But anyway, what would be your
But
favorite
eh,
cartoon, Jedi?
Oh wow, my favorite cartoon. You know what? I am gonna go old school, and I'm gonna go He-Man. I loved
He-Man.
He-Man growing up. I still love it to this day. I mean, I got a few to choose from: Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, He-Man. I could go, more recent and say South Park, but I'm gonna go old school and go
Are,
He-Man.
yeah.
are you excited for the movie they're making? Isn't there making a
Yes,
movie?
yes. Look, I love Masters of the Universe with Dolph Lundgren, so it's gonna be hard to top that because that movie is absolutely amazing. I don't care if it's a B
Mm.
grade movie; it's one of my favorite movies growing up. But
Wait,
yeah, I am excited.
wait a second. They're making a He-Man movie now.
Yes.
Oh wait, who's gonna be in the He-Man movie? Wait, we gotta discuss this right now. Wait, before we go on with this, we gotta really
No,
discuss.
crazy. We got lots of
I'm
things to cover
no, no, no,
today.
no, 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 no. Wait. They're gonna wait. You cannot be Masters of the Universe though. They're gonna make who's gonna be the He-Man?
Dolph Lundgren is returning as Elder Skeletor.
Okay,
No,
good point.
no, I have no idea. Have they actually announced the cast for it? Sorry to drop on a tangent, but
Let's.
Jedi have you found out that they announced the start whatever the cast is?
No, I actually haven't really looked into it. But I am excited. Look, anything He-Man, I'm there for. They really need to remake Red Sonja. I loved Red Sonja.
yeah,
That was an
Oh
amazing.
yes,
That
that was
was an
good.
amazing movie. I don't forget who plays her, but my God, she was gorgeous. Another
Mm.
great '80s movie.
Yep, Red Sonja with Arnie. Heck yeah. Woohoo! And speaking of, I think it's time for my crazy question, right? Yeah.
Actually, we have one more question, real quick. What would be your
Oh,
favorite
okay.
character in Jedi Knight Peter?
Oh, favorite character. Look, I don't know. How could I go past Master Chief? he is Xbox to me. And with everything I'm doing, that's what got me into Xbox. The Master Chief is the man. He always will be. I absolutely love him. I mean, do I go? Do I go Commander Shepard? Do I go Geralt of Rivia? No, I'm going to stick with Master Chief. These are tough questions. These are very tough questions, but I'm going to stick with Master Chief.
Nice, amazing. I thought you were gonna actually say like a Star Wars character, but
Oh, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
crazy.
No.
No?
I mean, look, if I was on a TV or movies podcast, I would have to say Luke. Luke's my man. I've always loved Luke growing up. I know that most people like, Han Solo, but I was always a Luke man. Always wanted to have the Force. I am a Jedi. So I do love Luke.
All right.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Before you go to
Awesome.
your crazy question, real quick, crazy.
What's
So
up?
the person that's gonna play He-Man has actually been cast, and his
Uh-oh.
name that's actually the only cast confirmed right now. His name is Kyle Allen.
What?
I
Who's that
actually
guy?
I don't know him myself, but he's known
Random.
for West Side Story,
What?
All of My Life, American Horror Story, and The Map of a Tiny Perfect Things.
I
Oh,
see.
dear
I
Lord.
see they've
Oh,
hit it out the park with a AAA, huh?
So
oh my God. Please, no. I
Oh,
just saw who this guy is. No. He does not look like a He-Man type dude. No. Please, oh, man. Oh, Lord. He needs to bulk up a lot. I mean, he's skinnier than the guy from Batman. He needs to bulk up more than the guy from Batman. Oh dear Lord. Speaking of bulking up and stuff, Jedi, I have a question for you, bro. Since you love Star Wars, this is actually a really good question. What's more powerful, the Schwartz or the Force?
Oh, well, that's not a hard question. It's obviously the Force. The
No
the
way.
Force permeates all things.
No way. The Schwartz can get bigger than the Force.
oh my
I see your Schwartz is as big as mine.
oh, boy.
we with this new layout, we gotta make a new timeout.
Timeout for
I think I'm going to push Louis for his timeouts today. I don't know who's going to get timed out first, me or Louis.
Oh man. Oh, that was good. All
Well,
right, all right, Captain. It's time for you to grab everything and take it forward.
yeah, I was about to say I think that's a perfect time to get away from that awkward conversation. Jump on to Jedi Knight Peter's most anticipated games. So, Jedi Knight Peter, as was mentioned previously, you're very excited about a few different games. Those being Flintlock, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Stalker 2. So just kind of wanted to touch base on them real quick and just kind of talk about them a little bit. But I'll go into some detail on it, and then we can kind of talk about it. And I want your take as to what's drawing you to these games. But so we'll start off with Flintlock Siege of Dawn. So the developer was A44 Games, creators of Ashen. It's an action RPG, open world adventure. And you end up playing as Nor Vanek, which is a member of the Coalition Army. And you've got a companion, strange gifted creature. It almost sounds like it's like a Schmeagol or a Gollum from Lord of the Rings. Is kind of how it feels like they line it up. Because he's
Wait,
got magical and gifted powers.
what's Amigo? What was it?
Oh,
Amigo?
God. Yeah. Oh, that's right. We decided that you've never watched Lord of the Rings either, huh, Crazy?
What?
We found out
Lord?
that you don't watch Harry Potter or Lord of the Rings that episode, didn't we?
No, I actually had watched Lord of the Rings. Isn't
Mm.
isn't it like about this dude who chases like this little dude who chases after this ring, and then he got like a elf. What's his name? I don't remember. I
So
gotta rewatch.
So continuing on, so they're basically in a personal vendetta against the old gods army of the undead. It's going to be coming to Game Pass, which I think right off the bat, that's awesome. That's going to be a cool get to jump into and play around with. But Peter, what's drawing you to this game? What are you most excited about this game as it comes out?
Okay, so I'm a long-time Dark Souls fan. Love From Software and everything From Software do. And there's a lot of people doing Dark Souls takeoffs. Elden Ring was my game of the year last year, and I don't know if you guys have played it, but the studio created Ashen, which was a co-op Dark Souls experience. Now, the graphics weren't there, but the gameplay was. It was incredibly fun to play. The gameplay was incredibly tight. I was able to run through a co-op, which is how I personally love to play games. I always like to play with my friends. And so this is the studio's next game, and it showed incredibly well at the Xbox Showcase event last June. It was one of the games that really, really stood out to me. And what they've tried to do is mash up the combat of Dark Souls with the combat and look of God of War. And I don't know if you can get a more perfect mix. The game looks incredibly fun. I know the gameplay is going to be there because they got it bang on when they made Ashen, and it just looks like so much fun to play. And then you get companions, which are always cool. That little bit of RPG mechanics coming in from Mass Effect. I'm hoping the story's it sounds good. Everything I've seen about this game just ticks all the boxes for me. So really looking forward to it. And it's on Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, that's always, I know we joke about it a little bit, but it's one of those things, right? It's like, if it's on Game Pass, you may as well try it, right? It's worth your time to just jump in there, give it a shot, because you're bound to find a hidden gem. I mean, it's like, if a lot of people looked at Vampire Survivors, saw that it was like a $4.99 game, and they're like, oh, I'm not going to try that because that's just Game Pass fodder. Like, a lot of people would have missed out on a high quality game. And it looks like, based on what you were saying, with this one coming from the guys that did Ashen, it looks like it's going to be a really cool thing. Crazy.
And it looks like they've grown from when they made Ashen. The graphics look a lot better, don't they?
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It looks like they've probably increased the team quite a bit, and they've definitely learned and upgraded their engine and stuff that they work with, or that they're just more familiarized with the engine they're using. But crazy, are you at all in on this one so far? Have you jumped into the Flintlock hype, as it were?
Man, I'm hyped into all these games, man. I'm hyped into any type of game, man. They all look great, and man, I really can't wait to play that one. Flintlock looks awesome. It really is. It's just wow. Like Jedi said when it first showed up, man, I was impressed. Really, can't wait to play it. And like he said, Game Pass, baby.
Yep.
Let's go.
Nice. And Sour, is this going to be, I mean, again, we mentioned it's in Game Pass, but is this something that you're going to jump into? Is this a style that you're interested in jumping into as well?
Well, I'm not gonna lie, it looks interesting, but it's all gonna depend what's near it at the moment. But it's on Game Pass. Once I get the chance, I definitely will give it a go if I can.
Nice. All right. Well, moving from that one, we're going to bounce over to Star Wars Jedi Survivor, which I'm pretty sure every one of us in here is super hyped for. That first game was fire, and I personally, I cannot wait for this thing to come out. It looks phenomenal. The first game was really, really good. There was so much depth to it, and the fact that they're adding more to this one, just, I don't know. I mean, I'm getting a little fanboyish. I'm getting a little Star Wars fanboyish, but I'm super stoked for it because that first game was something special. It's been a long while since I've been pulled in by a Star Wars game like that, and it feels really good. Like we go back to your namesake, right? Like Jedi Knight Peter. I go back to like Jedi Knight Jedi Academy, which was one of the very first games I played when I got my original Xbox. And, I didn't really do much with the campaign mode, but I wasted days on that multiplayer, like countless days on that multiplayer, because it was just so much fun, and being in the Star Wars universe and having something that felt like it was actually done with some good reverence to the actual IP. This is that. This series so far feels like it comes from a place of passion. And it feels like the developers are really interested in doing what they're doing with the game. But Pete, so obviously we know that it's Respawn that's doing this. Obviously, former creator of Titanfall, and then of course of Jedi and Fallen Order. We know that Jedi Survivor is third-person action adventure. If anyone's not familiar with it, if you're not familiar with this game yet, I don't know what you've been doing. You need to go play this game. It's awesome. But we'll be seeing Cal Kestis obviously followed up into this sequel. We know that we're going to be revisiting familiar frontiers and discover new planets. They're going to master new skills, equipment, ability. There's going to be a bunch of hidden rewards. They're coming back with that cinematic combat system, additional force abilities, new lightsaber fighting styles, newer and older enemies, which makes me interested in where this is going. I wonder what they mean in regards to that. Like, what type of older enemies we're going to see come back from like the Star Wars lore, right? But Pete, where's your hype level at this point on this game? I mean, obviously, if anyone sees or hears your name, they know that you're obviously a big Star Wars fan, as we already touched on. But where's your hype level at this point with how close we are to the release of this game?
March 17th can't come soon enough. I mean, it's 11 out of 10. I am not a achievement hunter. I don't do achievement hunting. I play the game to enjoy it. It's one of the rare games that I 100%ed the first game, Fallen Order. I just
Wow.
didn't want to put the game down. I enjoyed going and getting all the collectibles. I didn't want to leave that universe. I mean, it built upon everything we loved from The Force Unleashed and the combat system in that. That was another game that did lightsaber combat really, really well, and it's difficult to do. And look, I said I'm a big Dark Souls fan. All they really did is implemented Dark Souls combat into the Star Wars universe, and with Respawn's pedigree, you can't really go wrong. Vince Zampala is a god of the industry. I mean, he started Infinity Ward. He started this little thing we know as Call of Duty, and then, with everything that happened, they moved over and they respawned into Respawn Entertainment. Massive pickup by EA. Congratulations to them. They are righting the ship at EA, so to speak. They're showing them that single player games can still hit and still be successful. I have pre-ordered Dead Space. I'm glad EA are doing that. I just can't see how this game isn't going to be a 10 out of 10. The first one is amazing. The only thing that I had against it is Cal just seemed a little bit young for me, being a little bit older now. But now that he's a little bit older, he's a little bit more gruff, he's got a little bit more scarring. He should actually be a full true Jedi. We're going to be able to experience more force powers. I just think that the game's going to be fantastic. And I can't wait. And I mean, obviously, my name says it all. So, yeah, like I said, March 17th can't come soon enough. And I've already pre-ordered it.
Can I'm gonna throw a couple gripes out real quick because, like you said, he did look young on that first one, and I will give you that. I'll say the only two gripes I really had for that game tied to that was one, don't make me wear ponchos. Please give me better outfits than what you gave me in that first game, because all those ponchos, every time I saw that, I was like, oh, great, another colored poncho. Why can't there have been cool outfits that they've had in those Star Wars movies and games and stuff. Every time I unlocked another poncho, I was like, this is a missed opportunity to have a cool suit. But two goes with that. Yes, when I looked at him, because there were two suits that they had that were not ponchos, but they looked, it's something that I could never, just me being a husky kid as it is, I could never fit into what looked like those like teenager tight jeans that he was wearing in that outfit. He looked like he looked like a toothpick. He looked like a strong wind would knock him over in that first game. So I'm glad that he looks like he's a little more grizzled now, a little bit older, a little more filled out. I'm hoping that they'll give us some better outfits this time. Crazy. Where are you at with this game? Are you excited about this? Are you going to jump into it? are you gonna keep holding your weird obsession with the Schwartz, or are you gonna go into the Force?
I want to tell you something though. I want a Lone Star game. I want a Spaceball game, right, Jedi Knight P? You want Spaceballs games, right? That's gonna be
Look,
my
I
next.
won't say no to a spaceball game. Yeah, anything Mel Brooks does, I'm there for, right?
You see. Now we got another person online because first I wanted a Chuck Norris game. Now I want a Spaceballs game. That's what I want. Spaceballs, the video game. Let's do this. But yeah, I want to jump into this game. Hell yeah, because I mean I gotta tell you something though about this game. I'm happy that it's got more force powers, especially that scene in the trailer when you see when he stops the bullets like Kylo Ren does. Pretty much, he grabs the robot and smashes into the laser and oh man, the different swords. And when I saw the Kylo Ren sword, I was like, oh my god, that got me so hyped. Because I gotta tell you something though, out of all the Jedi swords, that's actually the coolest sword of them all. I don't know if you agree with me, Mr. Jedi Knight Pete, about the Kylo Ren sword. I think that's the coolest one of them all, right?
No, I
Mm,
personally
You
don't
don't
like it at all. I
you
don't
don't
think
like
it
it?
fits. Yeah, I don't
It's all
think
right.
it fits the universe at all. But yeah,
Eh,
that's
That
personal
that would
opinion.
that would be the sword that Conan the Barbarian would like run around, swing. It looks like a Conan sword,
I like
you know.
Dooku's.
Dooku's,
Yeah.
it's okay, eh, you know. But I like better Colorings though. It's got like that aggressive style, like it's pretty cool. But really, other than that though, I mean seriously, everything in that game, everything, wow, wow. I mean that trailer really opened my mouth. And yes, I do agree with you, Silent. They should like add like cool stuff, like cool armor stuff, not ponchos. But why the hell we want ponchos, man? Ponchos add cool armor, more protective gear, more cool stuff like Jedi will wear.
It
Yeah,
just
I like the whole idea behind the Second Sisters as well. I like BD1. I think he's a great droid. I think it's
Mhm.
hard to do droids in Star Wars because so many
You know,
variations have been done and they really hit the mark with that. Yeah, I just can't wait for this game. It's going
You
to be
know,
so much fun.
I don't know if you saw in the trailer. He combines with somebody and does a combo attack. Do you think there will be co-op in this game?
No, no. I think Respawn are better at just doing single player games. I don't think co op would work in this game. And look, you guys know me. I typically like to play games in co op.
Hmm.
I think that they should just stick to a single player experience. I think that's where Respawn are at their best. If you guys played the Titanfall 2 campaign, that game is absolutely amazing. Another game with a really, really cool droid.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. Just a great game all around if you haven't
Uh,
played it.
but but really change the poncho thing, add cool stuff. Cool armor, cool stuff. And question is, will we see Mr. Vader? That's something I want to see. I want to see Darth Vader chase him down and beat him up. That would be a pretty cool fight. Vader chasing him down, beating him up. Heck yeah, I'm down for that. Heck yeah.
yes, I. It would be cool to see Vader back again. I would agree with that. Obviously, not going to say anything for anyone who hasn't played any of this stuff yet, but yeah, that would be really cool. And honestly, like I know that I am a little bit weird about the poncho thing, but it just feels like it's a missed opportunity. There've been so many cool outfits and stuff. Like even I mean, throw it back to the movies and stuff, and make it so I can dress up in a stormtrooper outfit and
Or
just
or
not wear the helmet.
or,
Like
or, Oh, or
oh,
that cool or that cool Leia outfit from Return of the Jedi.
I
and
didn't mind the ponchos. I mean, I'm just saying, I didn't
oh
mind them. I thought they looked pretty cool. But look, if he is going to become a Jedi, then he should be wearing Jedi robes. Um,
Yeah.
so
yeah.
that's all I'll say.
To be fair, I do think that the ponchos filled out his very skinny man-child body that they had in that game
Well,
because the
that
poncho did
actor,
cover him.
But
that actor actually did all his own stunt work for the movie, and one of the reasons he got the job is he went in there and he's actually a Muay Thai fighter, and he actually showed his Muay Thai moves to the directors, and they instantly wanted him for the role. So he is actually quite good at doing the behind the scenes work as well. So and I,
but
I do like that. I
he
respect that.
he's a great
Je-
actor too.
Yep.
I was gonna ask you, Jedi Knight, but didn't Obi-Wan and Clone Wars wore like a stormtrooper vest or something? I think he did though. He wore like a kind of like a stormtrooper thing, like an armor protection thing, didn't he?
What in the game?
No. In the movies, Obi-Wan had like a stormtrooper like suit or something like that. I think when he went to the Clone Wars or something like that.
No,
During the Clone
no. He
Wars.
always wore his Jedi
Mm.
robes. Obi-Wan's
Mm,
always in his Jedi robes. Always.
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
yeah,
sure? I thought I
yeah.
saw him like
Always.
wear
He's got
like
his lightsaber to protect him. He doesn't need any armor. He's a
Oh,
yeah,
Jedi.
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. Let me look for that. I swear
I
to God,
don't
I thought
No,
I'm wearing armor.
no,
Let me
the
check that.
Jedi
I
doesn't
don't
need armor.
recall. Yeah, I don't recall him ever being in that.
Yeah, here it is. I just found it. He did wear an armor though. It was like a stormtrooper type of armor though.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's right here. I'll put
Could
the
it
link
could
on
it
the
be
chat.
he had to disguise himself to
No, he wore
infiltrate
like a full
somewhere?
armor though. It's called the Obi-Wan armor. It's called Upper
Obi-Wan
Security.
armor. I feel like you're making things up now.
I swear to
But
God.
while you sit in your world of delusion, sour. what what do
I
you
believe you, Louis. I'm checking it out now, bro.
what I- what's your hype level sitting out on this game? Obviously, you can tell that we're pretty stoked on it. Obviously, I'm a grouchy old man, and I might be in the minority about the ponchos. But what do you think? We could probably get a hashtag started in the chat. We could do hashtag poncho yes or hashtag poncho no.
No, I might actually. I want to add two things before I get to what is my hype level on this game. The first thing is if you guys go to Metacritic and you see any bad reviews and someone talking about ponchos and stuff, we know who did that that review. the the other thing is the actor that actually play I can't pronounce his name. I always mispronounce his name, but the main protagonist, he's an amazing actor for me. Um, if you have seen Gotham, he's actually the one that plays the Joker, which is to me it's a very like underrated Joker. No one speaks of him when they bring up Joker, and of course he's not no Heath Ledger, but I think he's a great Joker, and he actually plays two type of Jokers in that series. So I'm super hyped for the game. I believe the first one EA wasn't really full behind this game. It was more of an experiment, and they just wanted to use the IP. But Respawn is a great studio, and with what they had at the moment, they brought out an amazing game, and I'm super hyped for this game because now that they know the game was successful, the game was highly acclaimed, highly rated, and people actually want this game. I believe that they put more resources into the game, and as you can see from the description, everything we know so far, which is everything we know from the past game and then a little more, but I'm sure more stuff is going to start to come out slowly as they dive deep. The game looks amazing. I can't wait to jump into the game and continue the story.
I'll tell you at this point, I think the thing that I'd really like to see right now is if IGN ends up getting one of their IGN firsts on this game, just so that way we've got, because whenever they do those, if someone in here is not familiar with that, they end up doing a full month of coverage on the game that they're highlighting. Something like this would be really cool to see, like a full month of highlight on that stuff, and even just doing some cool deep dives on just like the environments, the new environments that we're going to be in, some of the new force moves and some of that stuff. That would be, for me, I would be really into that. That's some of the more like niche stuff that I would be super into. I'm sure Jedi's probably there with
Yeah,
me, is
getting to
like,
go experience Kashyyyk, the Wookiee
yeah,
home world was just awesome.
it
And
was.
yeah, the level design of that game was absolutely brilliant. Yeah, and I mean, there's so many planets to choose from, in Star Wars. Yes, Coruscant's awesome, or going to Endor, or seeing Mos Eisley. Yeah, but I want to see new stuff. So, and I think Respawn really hit it on the head when they did it that way.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just hope real quick that if someone from IGN is gonna cover the game, to please like I understand you want to show a little bit of the environment and you take your time on it, but once you show us the environment, like actually play the game like the game, like you would play the game. Because a lot of the times, like some of the gameplay they show doesn't really sell well the game. So I hope they do a better job on that.
Yeah, more than anything, like I'd be fine with them just doing a behind the scenes type of thing. I don't even want to see gameplay of someone roaming around because
Yeah,
yeah, I
true.
I
Yeah.
agree with you. When we see some of that pre-canned like gameplay and stuff that people do, it's a lot of like baby's new first game where they're walking and they stop and they look at everything for like 5
Yeah.
minutes and then they walk a few more feet and they press a button and they look around for 5 minutes. It's
And I'm sure it's not that, they don't know how to play video games. It's
no,
that they have that way of showing the game which doesn't show well.
yeah, it definitely does a disservice to it. But one game that I think we can all agree with so far as what we have seen, showing well nonstop every time that we've seen a little bit of footage of it, is the last one that we're going to talk about, which is Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl. So this one is done by GSC Game World, the original Stalker developer for Stalker Shadow of Chernobyl. The original game had taken place in 2007. The game took place in the Chernobyl power plant, but in an alternate reality where there's a second disaster. And the disaster was caused by an experiment after the power plant incident, in which an anomaly is basically caused throughout the area. And so you end up playing as a stalker, which is it's a long acronym for it, but it's scavenger, trespasser, adventurer, loner, killer, explorer, and robber, in which you're able to roam around the forbidden zone and steal valuable artifacts. There's it's got a really cool vibe. This game, just in general, if you ever played the first game, I know it wasn't on everyone's radar because it was a PC game. So we didn't see as much as far as people jumping into that one, but it was rad. The game, you have to end up dealing with radiation monsters created by the results of the experiments that happened. And it's not the only danger that you face, but that's definitely like some of the anomalies and stuff were definitely probably the creepier parts of that game. It was a really cool experience. But Peter, in regards to this one, so obviously we know that it's going to end up being it's Unreal Engine 5. It's basically like they've said that the game is going to be massive. We know that it's going to be over 100 hours to complete the whole game. They ended up listing out that it's about 60 square kilometers or 21.3 square miles for us US folks. It's got more than 30 firearms. It's got full mod support. It has a free multiplayer mode. Where are you at with this game? And were you devastated as much as I think most of us could say we were when we found out that this thing continued to get delayed? But then when we saw obviously everything that happened in those areas, obviously, like they've been affected by war, they've been affected by politics, they've been affected by a lot of things that most dev teams have not had to go up against, right? um were you as devastated obviously as us when we found out that that thing was basically kind of put on like an indefinite hold when we first found out about the war and everything?
Yeah, look, this is difficult. I could have chosen plenty of other games. Remnant 2 is one that I was really looking forward to. Warhammer 40k Dark Tide, Lies of P, The Last Case of Benedict Fox. But I specifically chose Stalker 2 because when they first showed this game, it was one of the only games that showed the graphical showcase of what the Series X is capable of. It instantly knocked everybody's socks off. It looked utterly beautiful. The gameplay looked tight, and I've been one of those guys that's been screaming for a darker narrative for a while. I just enjoy that in my gaming. I think that gaming, like, yeah, although Fortnite is good, I want that darker narrative. I'm a little bit older now. I like what they did with The Witcher 2 and and The Witcher 3, the continuation of that story. And it just and because it's made in that part of the world, they do have a little bit of a harsher side look on life. And so, yeah, it just looked fantastic to me. Now, in saying all that, my heart goes out to everybody at that development team. Um, yeah, what is it? GCS Games. They're in a war zone. There's people that haven't spoken to their family and they don't know if they're alive or they're dead. They were going home and trying to code in destroyed buildings. Like one of the guy's parents is in Maripol, a city that is being, it is rubble. It isn't a city anymore. And so anything I can do to promote the game, I'm going to try and do. These guys deserve it. And I know they've moved their studio over to Prague now. I think Microsoft helped. They gave them a little bit of money, so they could, enable them to move their studio to Prague. But a lot of the guys that are actually working at the studio have gone, and to help fight the war effort. Everybody is, helping to fight the war effort over there. So I don't know when we're going to see this game. I don't even know if it's going to be in 2023, but when it does hit, even though it's going to be on Game Pass, I am going to buy it because I want to support them. Um, and yeah, look, when you're talking gaming, when you're talking a hobby, I get that there's so many things bigger than that, and I think that this portrays it better than anything else I've seen.
Yeah, I think you hit it the nail on the head, especially is like with everything that they're going through with all these families displaced, these devs displaced and stuff. Obviously we ended up seeing it with other dev studios as well. Obviously we've run into that as kind of a narrative recently, but it's heartbreaking to see all these things happening to these dev studios and stuff. And the only hope is that there's something left for them once this is all said and done, like as far as life. Like obviously games are fun for us and everything, but at the end of the day, like these guys have dealt with things that again most devs have never had to deal with in a day to day. It's been a situation I can't even imagine, honestly. They actually, so on Wired, they ended up doing an article and basically went in on like the passion and dedication that GSC has for the project and all the struggles that they had to go through. So if you have a chance, go on to Wired and check out what it takes to build a game in a war zone is the name of the article. And it actually goes into a lot of the struggles that they had to see on that, and that you'd imagine some of the other devs have had to run into the same type of thing. So definitely hearts go out to those guys. Like anyone who manages to hold it together in a situation like that and still bring out a game, or even just go to work on a day to day in a situation like that, hats off to them. Like that's not a desirable situation by any means. But Sour, did you want to throw anything else in on this before we move forward, or go over to Crazy?
Yeah, real quick, I just want to say, I'm super hyped for this game. Like I said before, I'm playing the Metro series, and I love the the environment and the game and the way. And a lot of the developers, as you may know, from the original Stalker, they did went and worked on Metro, and then some of them came back to Stalker 2. Now, if you are an RPG fan like I am, and I'm also actually a first person shooter, this game is gonna be like a combination of both. So this game is gonna have player choice, which they're gonna impact they're gonna impact long term, but also short term in the way you play your story, and also it's gonna impact the ending, like the original, because the original had different ending, so it has a lot of replayability. And you know, something that really got me hyped from this game is that they further develop their A Life simulation system, which was something they were working on, and I believe they had some trouble in the first one, and didn't have the tools to fully implement it like they wanted to, but now they can. So this is really, this is really gonna be like, uh, it's gonna be awesome because like this, what this does is like it controls the way the environments behave, so that no other player is gonna have the same, you know, no other player is gonna have the same experience basically when you play the game. And I want to see it to the full max potential because Stalker One, really hit a mark with players that actually played it and like those styles of game. It's a game that's it reference on that type of playability, just like Skyrim, just like people bring up The Witcher and games like that you go out and you play and you have different experience, especially something like Skyrim and Fallout. This game also, uh, it's kind of like that. The only thing it I believe it only came for PC at that time, so it wasn't console. But now we're gonna be able to enjoy this game on PC and on console. It's amazing, super high.
Yeah, it's going to be a really good thing. The fact that it does have more accessibility this time in regards to literally just the access, being able to be on console, people being able to access it in more places. Because, like you said, it was PC only initially. So this will be a major thing, and it would be great to see this get out to more hands and more people get time on this game. But crazy, real quick before we shift forward, what's your take? Are you pretty excited about this, or
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm gonna see something though. This game, it was announced. What was it? 2020 was it announced? And then, or 2019 was it? I forgot when it
Yeah,
was, but I don't know. It
you're a
was close
little
to that.
low, crazy. Sorry.
I'm a little low. Hello,
Oh,
hello,
not
hello. Is it
yeah,
better
much
now?
better. Yeah.
there we go?
All right. Now, I was saying though that when this game was announced, I saw it and I was like, wow, this game is beautiful. This game is awesome, and it's just everything, the environment, and everything. And I'm with Jedi Pete. I mean, I love those type of games. I love those type, narratives and stuff like that. Like Sourblow's been playing Metro, and man, I'm one of those guys that I already got my Metro. What's that Metro called? What was
Fever.
that Metro called? Nah, Exodus, right? That's what was
Exodus.
called it.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
I have not beaten Exodus. Can you believe that? You know,
It's a big game.
it's a big
It
game. Yeah, and it's a game that always told myself I want to beat it. But yeah, after seeing Stalker 2, I was like, man, I gotta jump back into the game and beat it because those type of games are just freaking awesome and they're just fabulous. And yeah, and what I find amazing is how these guys, with all the stuff these guys are going through and how they're putting that hard work into that game. And man, it's just a beautiful, beautiful, just the environment, graphics, detail, everything about it's just awesome. And yes, I'm super hyped for it, and I cannot wait to get my hands on it. And man, I just hope that that release date gets out soon.
Yeah, yeah. I think like you're saying, and also like Jedi said, is it's more of a gritty take on things, and that's what I liked about the Metro stuff too. It's a little rough sometimes because sometimes you're like, wow, this is dark, this is
Yeah.
rough. Some of the content, some of the topic matter that you're going over, but I feel like sometimes if it's done properly, it's super impactful, and that's really cool. Like if they can do it right, they can draw you in, and they can do things that sometimes people drop the ball on with that. But if they can build that atmosphere and deliver an impactful story, impactful narrative, that's it's awesome. So speaking of impactful games and bringing out awesome games, you know what? I think we need to bounce into the main topic this evening, which is the Xbox and Bethesda Developer Direct, which I will be straight up with everyone here. I've not gotten to see all of it. Unfortunately, like I said, work has been rough. I've been trying to go over it and get some details. From what I can tell though, like I said, everything seems to be pretty well received. With the exception of obviously some nebulous stuff like maybe Forza not actually listing a date.
Did
But
you see that
but, but,
Perfect Dark gameplay?
but
I
wait,
didn't I did not.
Oh, sour,
I did
sour.
not.
You got to give me
Maybe
that.
that was
That's
one of the
because
Easter
nobody
eggs.
saw it.
No, no, wait, wait one thing though. Wait one thing though, Silent. This 26th of January, they're gonna show stuff from Forza. You know, like they did with Forza Horizon. Remember Sourblow? They
Yeah,
put
Yeah,
revealed
tomorrow.
stuff
tomorrow
about
they're
it.
doing a deep dive. Yep.
Oh, tomorrow is
Oh,
it tomorrow? Oh my
Yeah,
God, it's
today's
tomorrow.
the
What?
25th. Oh my god.
Oh Lord, I'm lost.
this
The
month
25th?
has yeah, this month has
Oh
come and
man.
gone real fast.
Yes.
Well, if that's the case, that makes me a little more hopeful. I'm still kind of nervous that this one, especially with us only seeing a 2023 date listed on the show today, I'm a little nervous that this thing's going to slip into maybe the later half of the year. But going up into this at least, and maybe they'll cover this tomorrow, and maybe it'll all be for naught, and I'll be wrong. But I was thinking maybe May or June at the latest this year. When they were first saying like early 23, I was like, I don't see it. I think summer is a good time for this type of game. They always usually do really well during the summertime anyways, because everyone wants to play those type of games.
Yes, then you can
But
go out into the streets and do burnouts, and it's going to be nice weather.
Yes.
ex- exactly. But yeah, so I guess the big thing that we want to talk about today in regards to all this stuff is just really like, did the event meet expectations, right? So in order for us to make fair judgment on that, let's just kind of go over it, and what the promises were and compare kind of how they delivered, right? So I take it with the exception of me, probably all of you guys actually got to enjoy it. Peter, I know that you said that you did a big live event for us, so you got to watch it. Sour, I think you finished it right before the show.
Yes.
Crazy, did you get to go all the way through it?
Yes, I did, sir. Yes, I
Okay,
did. I
so
mean,
I'm the only chap who didn't do his homework today. Perfect. So that's
but
great because I can just let you guys follow the narrative, and you can guide the conversation.
okay, you know, yeah. The only thing is you missed out on just such a great announcement. We got what's the game that
We're gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
uh,
we'll get
We'll
there.
get
We'll
there.
get
We'll
there.
get there.
okay, okay,
So
okay.
we'll start off. So we're just gonna kind of work it through order real fast. But the very first thing that we ended up seeing was Minecraft Legends. They ended up giving us a date of April 18th, 2023 for that one. We know that there's going to be some PvP multiplayer experiences in there. Exclusive gameplay footage is what they were kind of listing, right? So PvP multiplayer experience and exclusive gameplay footage. In regards to that, so I know based on what I saw, we did see exclusive gameplay footage. I don't remember seeing much in the way of PvP, but Sour, am I wrong on that, or did they deliver for it?
I mean, they really. I don't think they concentrated on PvP to be honest. But like you said, they did show exclusive content and they did talk, quite a bit about what we're gonna see. And they're also gonna have their own separate. Well, they actually did have their own separate event, which I personally did not watch. It was right after the event,
Oh,
so maybe you can tie that into it and give them a leeway there. But what I saw, it looks pretty good because I remember jumping into it a long time ago, and it didn't look this good. So I'm kind of curious because I used to play a lot of MMOs. This was one that I tried it in its time, like a long time ago, but I didn't really play a lot of it. So I'm kind of interested. It looked pretty interesting to me what they show here.
so Pete, in regards to what Sour was talking about, did you end up watching the extra footage after the show where they kind of did a little bit more on that, or?
No, I didn't because I wanted to start downloading Hi-Fi Rush and jump into that. So I didn't. And look, honestly, I'm not into real-time strategy games.
Sure.
And they
What?
did a lot of what they showed was going to be the PvP side of things. So your base building and then how you can offset attacks that you're going to have to withstand and how you can have different designs of fences to
Oh,
block
wait a minute.
certain attacks.
So
So, um, So that's not what I'm interested in. I don't want to play PvP. I don't really enjoy that kind of things. I don't really enjoy RTS. But I was in a party with C Steph who loves mine. This is his game he was most looking forward to, and it looked like it really hit home for him. So for the audience, I think they did a really, really good job. It's just not for me.
Mm,
Silent.
Okay.
mm.
I
Yeah,
believe I misheard you. You were
I
talking
had a
about
feeling.
Minecraft Legends?
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
thought you were talking
Did,
about Elder Scroll Online.
did you miss?
Wow,
Did you
wow.
just do a Louis?
I just
Yeah,
did
he
a
pulled a
Louis.
Louis. He
The,
pulled a
You did a
Louis.
you pulled a
When
Louis,
the
you
big
said that
Louis.
you played it a long time ago, I was like, is he talking about the last Minecraft offshoot that they did? I don't know what
yeah,
he's.
the thing was that the notes were kind of in a different order, and we changed the last moment. So my bad.
Uh, huh.
So if I can
Mm-hmm.
get a word again, I
Sure.
would like to
Yeah.
talk.
Yeah. Retry Sourblow 2.0.
Okay,
Take.
All right, sorry
okay,
about that.
Louis.
So
And action.
unlike Jedi Knight Peter, I'm actually a fan of real time strategy. And to be honest, even though I'm a fan, I wasn't really hyped about this game. I was probably not even gonna touch this game. But from what I saw from Minecraft Legend, it really got me excited. Like I saw a lot of things that you know, it's very interesting. Like of course you have the piglins attacking you, attacking your base with the PvP, which we did see
Oh,
PvP action. And besides that, there's a lot of strategy into it. Like the game looked so simple the first time they showed it, but it's not that simple. Like you gotta you gotta constantly upgrade your base depending on how you're being attacked, and you can attack plenty of different ways. So that to me, that really got me hyped. Like I'm really excited for this game. Like I was a big Warcraft 3 fan, and one of the things that I really liked about it, that kind of separated to me from other RPGs, were kind of like the abilities and all that, and you can mix it in with the different towers you build, different stuff, and the strategy was kind of unique, and that really got me hooked into it. And I saw a little bit of this on this Minecraft Legend, not to the point where with magic, but with the abilities like the building has, you can actually go out and get your own mount. Like they give you different ways to play. Like you can play, uh, you know, be the protector and really build up your base and really protect your base, or you can just go out and kind of like, I don't know if you level up, but you do at least get stuff to gear up, and you can explore. You can just go at it at your opponent. You just attack him straight up and try to get him like off guard. Like there's many ways you can attack. So I'm really hyped for the game now. I really like what I saw.
well, I'm glad that you caught your mistake because I was like, huh, that seemed like one that he would have been pretty into, but maybe he changed his mind. Um,
Mm.
so we already got Pete's comment on that. Crazy. What's your take on this?
Man, I am down for anything that is RTS. I'm telling you, man. They can make a Peppa Pig RTS game, man. I'm down with it. I love RTS games. Now, here's a question for Jedi Knight P. A good question. An interesting question. And he best have a good answer for this. If there is a Star Wars RTS game, would you play it?
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah,
wait a
let's
minute.
do
Actually,
it.
no,
Hold
no.
Hey, look, and saying that, Louis, I have pre-downloaded Age of Empires 2. I am going to give it a go. Like, typically, I'm a gamer that games on Xbox, and let's face it, RTSs have never been big on consoles because the control moving over the controls always seems incredibly difficult to do. So I am going to try it out. I don't know how good I'm going to be at it because, like, it takes a little bit of getting used to playing RTSs. So I suppose the furthest I've gone is the Gears of War game, Gears of War Tactics. I don't know if you guys would consider that RTS, but that's about as close as I've come to that style of game. But look, I'll try it. It's on Game Pass. I wish I would have seen more of the PvE aspect of Minecraft Legends. Then they would have maybe hyped me up more. But the whole PvP side of things just doesn't interest me.
Crazy. I'm gonna have to correct you real quick though, bud, because they've had Star Wars RTSs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They had
I
Star Wars
thought
Galactic Battlegrounds and they had Star Wars Empire at War, if I remember correctly.
How come I
Yeah,
never saw
they
this?
were old. They were back on PC like back in, I think it was the late 90s, early 2000s.
How come I never saw this? Look at this. Oh my god. I gotta get
Didn't
this.
pay enough attention. You were too
yes.
busy being Chuck Norris, I guess. I don't know.
Chuck.
Um,
Okay. Okay.
but all
Well,
right. So oh, sorry. What were you gonna say, Sour?
no, I was gonna ask. I believe you got to that part of the showcase. What did you
I
think
did.
about Minecraft
I
Legends?
I'm not gonna lie. I did not care.
Really?
I'm I was excited
That's
when I
me.
heard RTS, and then when I watched that, I was like, I'm glad that these guys are super excited about it, and I'm glad because like I know it's gonna excite some people. I just don't care
Just
about Minecraft.
because it's Minecraft?
I was going into it with an open mind, and I was excited because they said RTS, and as they were talking about it, I felt like I was starting to fall asleep. So sorry. I'll be honest. Like I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I love RTSs, but as I watched that, I was like, I don't. And when you start saying PvP, you lose my interest real fast. But maybe I will be drawn in. I'm willing to give it a shot. Yeah, it's just me.
Yeah,
Um,
it's why I liked Minecraft Dungeons because of the PvE aspect of it. You know, I could get in, I could play with my friends, and I really enjoyed playing that game. Look, maybe
yeah,
when I see more of the PvE, I'll be more interested, but I'm kind of like you, Silent. It didn't hit home for me at all.
yeah. I get why people enjoy it. I'm excited for them. It's just not for me. But I will tell you one thing: the next game that we're going to talk about, the next one that they showed, is definitely a game for me, and that was Forza Motorsport. Which, so the things that we were promised in regards to what we were going to see on this one, we're going to see the next generation of Forza Motorsport. We're going to see that it was built from the ground up to take advantage of Series Xbox and X and S. And we were going to see gameplay and exciting new details. Now, real quick, before I pitch it off to one of you guys, I will say, at least on my side of things, I think they delivered perfectly on that. They did not tell me that they were going to give me a date. So I will give them credit for the fact that they didn't give us a date. But as far as those three things, I think they nailed it. Crazy, for those listening, Crazy is just shaking his head at me violently like he completely disagrees. So I'll start with you, sir. What's your take on this? Why do
Uh,
you disagree with me?
I'm just saying no because this is the only game you will actually approve out of the whole thing because you
No.
love Forza and you live Forza. Forza, it's in your blood. I mean, seriously, if you can sit down and play Forza 24/7, you will play Forza 24/7. I mean, we had to do what was it, an intervention we had to do, Sourblow, to stop him and play Forza, and still there's no matter what. If we say, hey, let's play Forza this Friday, he's like, oh yeah, I'm in. No matter what, he'll leave everything behind, any chore just to play Forza. Am I right, Sourblow?
Yeah, he's actually waiting for the Forza RTS to play that too.
Yeah.
Forza RTS, that actually sounds kind of fun. But Crazy. I understand that you don't like the fact that I am a dedicated Forza fan. But we go back to the topic at hand, which was what they delivered on. Of which, if you look at those three items, you can't tell me that they didn't deliver on all three of those items that they listed.
man, I'll tell you something. That game is wow. I mean, I'm impressed. I'm impressed with everything. Impressed with the ray tracing. Impressed, really impressed with the details. I mean, wow, 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 wow. It's amazing. Especially, you know what I like about that game and something that's interesting. Like for example, okay, you're playing what is this a race simulator, right? Because Forza Motorsport is a race simulator. So if you get an actual car accident, your car does wreck, you know, which is a good thing. That's something we want in a racing simulator. Am I right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
we want all that stuff. We want all those little small details. And man, wow, just everything. I was just impressed with that game. I mean, they took it a step because I mean, Forza Horizon. Don't get me wrong, is beautiful, but with this one, they took like a bigger step than Forza Horizon. I don't know if you agree with me, Silent there, but I feel like they
Yep.
did take a bigger step with this one on the details.
They did. They did. And one of the things that they actually talked about on this that I was hoping for, because if you look at the Forza Motorsport games in the past, they haven't always really given you as much option with customization as far as like tuning and stuff like that. And they actually took a note from Forza Horizon, which if you look at the Forza games, they always do this back and forth, right? Like they share some of the main pipeline for the games. So when one implements something, another one implements that similar stuff like that. So the thing that they did with this is you end up seeing the real night and day and weather changing and stuff as you're playing the game. But they also allowed you to start tuning the cars in different ways. And the big point that they mentioned in it that caught my attention is the audio. And the thing that we ran into back in the day, which they actually just tweaked in this new Forza Horizon 5, was in the audio. If you tune a car, if you put in a new exhaust, a new muffler, stuff like that, if you put in those things or you change the turbo or whatever, the car sounds different. In the old games, it didn't really do that. They had a few set tones as to what the car would sound like, and you never got that exact sound as to how it should sound normally, like if you put those parts on. And they added that into this new motorsport, so I was excited about that because the audio definitely, especially with all of the detail they put in on it, it fully envelops you into the experience, right? Like they're focusing very heavy on the audio side for this game, and it shows. Like it, based on the little bit that we saw, they were very detailed on that, and it sounds really good. I'm excited for that part myself. But Pete, are you gonna meet me on the roads, and we're gonna be doing some racing here in hopefully only a couple months?
Okay, so I'll preface this by saying that I've never been a big racing car guy. I just have never been. I love Project Gotham back in the days, but that was more arcadey. It's more akin to Forza Horizon, which I have played quite a bit. But in saying that, my God, this game looks beautiful. 4K, 60, ray tracing, with all that audio going, with the day night cycles, with the dynamic clouds. It looked amazing. I don't know if you guys heard it, but when that car went over the bump, it sounded absolutely true to life. The amount of work that they've put into the audio system, not only that, the physics of the engine, changing the suspension, depending on how much rubber on the road is depending on how much grip you're going to get, the dirt that builds up in the crevices of the car. They look like they focused on everything, and then to run it at that fidelity, kudos to Turn 10. They are an amazing studio. They never let Xbox down. They have been the benchmark for a while. Polyphony Digital, don't even touch them. I mean, the difference is stark. Those guys are amazing. They're the absolutely pedigree. They're the top of their class, and everybody else is just so far behind them. And I want to see more tomorrow. I cannot wait to go into a deeper dive.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
on it. Oh,
we
sorry.
a-
Go ahead.
oh we actually saw that the whole thing with the sound, right? Sourblow with Forza Horizon, they started with that. They started
Yes.
with that Forza Horizon 5. They started with the whole sound thing, and that's another thing though that are actually getting better at it. Like I said, with this one, they took it. what like a bigger notch than what it was. I mean, it's just amazing. Like all the details, like you were saying, Gen IP, the dirt, everything is just. Whew. I mean, that this game is going to be huge. I mean, this is actually going to be actually. I think it's going to be the best racing car game ever. I think it's going to get a big solid 10 because of everything in it. And let's see if it wins Game of the Year.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Now, Sour, I'll let you jump into this. I know you're not traditionally a massive racing guy, but
Yep.
what was your take on this? Do you think they delivered?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this game looks amazing, and usually, racing games, especially race sim games, are kind of like what showcase what the consoles are capable of. And oh my god, this game, looked amazing. You touched into a lot of the details, and so did Jedi Knight Peter. And adding to that, like, the amazing thing is, like, they done this to like every like individual car. Like, for example, when Jedi Knight Peter was talking about how the dirt get into all the little details of the cars, you know, depending on the crash, depending on the wear and tear of the car, this could all change. And they done that to every individual car. It will react differently depending on what car it is, what you add or remove from the car is going to sound differently. All of that is it's really amazing. And the track, the terrain, all of that has to do with the way the game is going to interact, how your car is going to actually interact with the world. Like they said, no lap is going to be feel the same. Like, even if you're going around a second time the same lap, it's not going to be the same because you're not going to run the same exact line. It's all going to change. And then you got the wear and tear. So I'm really hype for how this game is really going to look on my PC or on my Xbox when I jump in. I want to definitely run some race, see how it feels, put my headphones on, and listen to this audio. I mean, it's gonna. I think this is gonna be the beginning of showing what these consoles are really capable of.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it's
I
going to lead
think
the way, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Here's the thing, though. I mean, I gotta tell you something, though. Remember, I think it was like a month ago. Was it? Was it a month ago? 2 months? 2 months ago, they were talking about again on how Fable is having issues and this and that. Guys, I don't think they're not gonna have any issues. I mean, look at this game. Look at this game. I mean, I find it hard to believe. I don't know what you think about that, Jen and IP, but I find it hard to believe they're gonna have issues. I mean, look at this. This is just whew.
Yeah,
Because
I mean, it's a different studio. Turn 10 do most of
yeah,
uh, the coding, and then they hand over those cars and that coding to Playground Games, who then build out the open world for the Horizon series. And no doubt that the open world environments that the Horizon team at Playground Games build out are beautiful. I have faith in that team. I really do. I love the Fable
yeah,
franchise. I know people are a little bit, worried about it, but I think they're going to do a really good job as
heck yeah.
well. So I'm not really worried about that.
Me either. I mean, this is just fantastic that these. Telling you, wow, it's just amazing. I mean, I saw this, and this is like the biggest thing I saw, like in the whole thing. I mean, my mouth was just open all the time, just every detail, every inch. It's just fantastic.
Well,
Yeah,
so
500 cars when it
yeah,
first comes out, 20 different environments are just going to be amazing. There's so much there already at launch with more to come.
Yeah. Real quick, something that Jedi Knight just touched. Something that's great about Turn 10 and also Playground Game. They bring out a lot of content. Like, you see when they bring out their updates, it's like, look at Forza Horizon 5, like all the updates we had already. And it's amazing how much content they bring. Other studios might have to take notes on that. 343. industry.
I swear, every game that was showed, I'm like, just give that Studio Halo. No, just give that Studio Halo. Like,
Yeah. It's sad to see something like Halo get disheveled the way that it has been recently. Hopefully they get their stuff in a row, and hopefully eventually they'll bring Master Chief back to the glory that he once had. Because it's not there yet. But going from a very awesome experience to what I can only assume was probably the low moment of the entire show was the Elder Scrolls Online, which is dated. The new updates and stuff are listed for June 2023. They stated that we were going to end up seeing a chapter update, the latest regions of Tamriel, major new features, and biggest update this year. Pete, are you excited for this?
we were talking about it with Infinite Umbra and KJ, and both of those guys haven't played the game, or they haven't. I think KJ said he's played it for an hour. I got a couple of days in that, but I really wanted to start fresh, and I wasn't really interested in Elder Scrolls Online until they said the amount that was dropping into Game Pass for free. All those DLCs coming in for you to try out. And I don't know how long the free play days were, or if they're going to keep them in there. But that's what excited me about it. The problem I have with Elder Scrolls Online is you have to pay that extra $15 a month, and I don't think you can really play the game without it. Your inventory system is just not big enough with an MMO to play without it, and that's the big problem I have with the game. So although a lot of it is in Game Pass, I'm already paying for gold. I'm already paying for an online subscription. I don't want to have to double up on that to play one extra game. That's my big issue with that game. But if I get a few groups, a few friends together, I would run through that game. The Elder Scrolls universe is a great universe. The gameplay is, I wouldn't say it's great, but it's enjoyable enough, and the story is definitely there.
Yeah, I'm definitely there with you in regards to the subscription model side of things. I think that was always the thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way about it as it was. Especially when Bethesda got taken on by Microsoft. I was like, all right, I get that it's a thing, but I kind of don't feel like we need that extra subscription fee. But that's just me. It's never been my big thing. I always tried to dive into WoW and some of those games in the past and just bounced off a lot. I kind of prefer traditional multiplayer, traditional campaign games myself. But Sour, what was your take on this? From what you saw, do you feel like they delivered on what they listed before the show? Oh,
So
crazy. What's your take on it?
On Elder Scrolls Online?
Yeah. Do you feel like they ended up meeting what they were telling us that they were going to show? Do you think they delivered in regards to those statements? Do you want me to go back over them?
I'll be honest with you. I saw that segment of the show, but I actually did not pay that much attention to it.
Oh.
Nothing bad to it. I just said, man, I gotta sit down and watch it again because Elder Scrolls, I'm just not a big fan about it.
Just in general, or the online one?
The online. I just, I have not played it, never played it, so I'm like, yeah, I hear it, I'm like, okay, I just did something else when I was hearing it. Until we jumped into redfall, but yeah, I'll catch into it again, re-listen to it, and probably later on I'll give my opinion about it. But man,
it's cool. It's like Jedi Knight Peter said, right? Is the story is there? It's enjoyable enough, and it's a good place to like get together with some friends and play stuff. It is one of those like modern MMOs that you can play, with the exception of stuff like Destiny 2. There's not a lot of those more modern ones. There's still some of the old stuff, the old guard, like WoW, League of Legends, stuff like that. So something like this is a more modern version of it. And so I get it. And obviously Tamriel is always interesting to go into. Like I love the Elder Scrolls games. I just never enjoyed the online myself. Um, Sour, are you back with us, or are we bouncing to the next one?
I'm back. I basically gave my take earlier, but but yeah, I am excited to try it because back in the days when I did play MMO, I gave it a try and didn't look as great as it looks now. And also, I believe when I played it back then, I hadn't jumped into like Skyrim or anything like that, so I wasn't really into the Elder Scroll kind of universe or world. But now, it looks interesting, and if it's on Game Pass, it looks even better. So I'm pretty excited to give it a try. Definitely.
Mm,
All right.
I think
All right.
Goggle Poe makes a really good point. He says that they need content. It costs money to make content, and one of the great things that ZeniMax Online has done is pushed out amazing amounts of content. The DLCs are, very, very well done. The story, is implemented extremely well. It's hard to get into MMOs if you're not there from the start. But what I would like them to do is to maybe make it streamlined, and so maybe give me a 10 times XP, and so I can just run through the story, not have to do with the stuff, not have to do all that collecting and that typical MMO grindy things, and that will push me through to the current DLCs that they've got. But yeah, that's maybe some advice that maybe they
but
could take.
but I think though, I don't know. I have not played it though, because I know Destiny does this though. If you start in Destiny, you usually get to the light level super fast.
Yes, they
That
they do kind of they do a jump
the
ahead, if I remember
yeah.
correctly.
The only thing is, like, like with every MMO, you grind for stuff, you grind for items, you find like this exotic item, this cool item, and it's hard to get. That's the thing you got to grind for in the MMOs, not the level though, because I don't know. I don't know if this game does help you level up fast. If it does, then it's good, because if you want to jump into it, then cool. But the thing about MMOs is just grinding for those cool weapons and those cool armors, man. That's the pin in the butt out of all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, what got me into the Old Republic way back in the days when I actually had a PC was I did do that. They had that 10 times experience leveling up, so I got to play the Jedi Knight, the Jedi Counselor. I got to play all of them without having to do the grind, and they typically just end up being like single player experiences, and that's what I like. I'm waiting for Elder Scrolls 6. That game's going to be amazing. I don't know when we're going to get it, but I'll be there day one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm there
When
with you.
when we gonna get it? Silent. What's the date? What date do you think we're gonna get it?
of Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. What is the date? 2027.
How about you,
Yeah,
Sarah? What date?
2026. 2026, I go.
Gotcha. How about
Um,
you, Sarah?
I'm probably gonna go 2027 too.
I'll go
Uh,
20. I'll go 2030.
No.
no, I think I
No.
think 2030 is more realistic to when we'll see the next Fallout.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was
But
thinking that's
that's
the Fallout. Yeah.
a
You know,
conversation for a different day.
yeah. I was gonna say though, the guy from City wants to play. Wants to play. No, he wants to do
He wants
another
to make
Fallout.
one. Yep.
He wants to make
Yes.
one. Yeah. He wants to make one before he retires. Yep.
Well,
Yes. Yes, the head of Obsidian. He's 52 at the moment.
yeah. So
Yep.
hopefully he gets his wish, and hopefully we get another Fallout soon.
Yep.
But speaking of something that is coming fairly soon, I was a little nervous as to this one maybe getting pushed back to August, maybe September myself. But Redfall listed for a May 2nd of 2023. So the things that we had been told previous was that we were going to see several minutes of gameplay, single and multiplayer gameplay, showing more of how you and your friends will take down the bloodthirsty vampires, and expecting to more details on like the combat, customization, bosses, open world, all that stuff. So this does go past where I saw in this. So I'm going to have to kind of lean on you guys a little bit. But Pete, do you feel like they delivered based on what we were told ahead of time?
100%. Every time I didn't need to see any more Redfall. I'll just preface that. Every time I've seen this game, it looks better and better. The only problem I had with Redfall, because I don't know what character I'm going to pick. Cannot wait to jump into that game. Day one looks amazing. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the size of the world. Like, so they showed a little bit of the map and they pulled out a little bit, but we still don't really get to look at the extent of that. We've heard it's going to be quite substantial, but I do want to see a little bit more of that. The combat looked on point today, but and that's what most interests me. So if the gameplay isn't satisfying, if that gunplay isn't there for me, then I'm not going to stick with it. And it just looked fantastic today. It really, really did. It really, really did. I'm probably not going to play Layla, although her move set looks really, really cool. I probably won't play the sniper because I don't like to play snipers. So that leaves me, I think, Devinda, the guy that has all those cool gadgets and stuff. And I forget the other girl's name, the one that has the robot dog. I don't know if you guys know me, but my dog Jedi is my life. um, a robot doggy in a game sounds fantastic to me, so I'll probably end up going with her. But that's the toughest choice I've got when it comes to Redfall. So glad we got a release date. May 2nd. It's a little bit away, but there's plenty to play in the meantime.
It's I feel like May 2nd is going to come up real fast, honestly, with everything that's going on with all the games that we actually do already have that are going to be coming out. I feel like May 2nd is going to come real quick. Uh, Sour, what was your take? So obviously Pete has some high praise on this one. What do you think? Do you think they delivered, and how hyped are you at this point?
Oh, definitely. Like, I have always said that I saw some early gameplay, like way in the beginning, and the game looked amazing, and I still the showcasing, like they deliver with everything they promise. I still believe that something they should have done at the end, because what they did was they show us different aspect of the game. They show us like you you do like main story. They show us a little bit of the main story. They show us a little bit of side quests. They show us a little bit of different things of the game. I think at the end they should have shown us another clip of kind of like putting some of those things together, like maybe you go into doing a main doing a main quest, but then you bump into a side quest to kind of give people more of a you know kind of like a broader look of what the game really is capable of, because like we saw like bits and pieces and stuff. And Arcane is not really well known for really showing what their game is like capable of doing, what their full potential. Like a lot of people see their game and they really don't know what the game is about, and then when they jump into the game, they're like, oh wow, this game is this. So I think they did a much better job than they usually do, but I still think they needed that extra piece. And like Jedi Knight Peter, I'm confused on who I want to play with. Unlike him, however, I'm in the other side of the players. I'm cut in between the sniper and Layla. So those are the two I'm kind of intrigued on jumping into. But hey, May, it's just around the corner.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with you in the fact that it feels like Arcane has always been one that doesn't really, there are some folks that try and they're very much like the humble type of dev, right? And I feel like they never really go out of their way to be like, check out our game. This is going to be, top tier, like AAA experience. Look at all these awesome things. They let the product speak for itself, right? They don't go out as hard as some dev studios do to promote and push the game. And in turn, sometimes we see maybe less people jump into some of these games because they just don't really know what they're getting into. But when they dive into it, they realize what the experience is. Uh, Crazy. What's your thought on this? Are you excited to get in there, do some co-op chaos and stuff with the crew, get the team back together and kill some vampires?
Heck
Do
yeah,
you
man. I mean, I'm gonna have fun with this game. I'm telling you, just everything that you can build stakes. Is it stakes, right? They're called stakes, right? You can build stakes out of pool cubes, and you can build, all these cool source weapons. The UV lights and all that awesome stuff. I mean, I'm amazed with this game. truly amazed. And the fact that it's an open vampire world, and not only that, you're gonna fight vampire gods and all that cool stuff. Man, I was just like, whoa, dude. I was no. I
Yeah,
mean, I saw this today and I was just too hyped up, man. And the characters, the detail. Oh my god, just the way the vampire, just when you kill them, how they burn up, like kind of like the Blade movies, stuff
Yeah,
like that. Oh
yeah,
the
man,
disintegration. Yeah, it
disintegration.
looks cool.
Yes, it looks cool. Everything about this game is gonna be freaking fantastic. Like I said, big open world game, do whatever you want. I love how they showed new stuff like if like the main quest, side quest, stuff like that. I like the side quest missions, rescue people. It's got like its own cool story, which is cool. And it's something that really makes this game a lot more longer, a lot more, like wants you to come back and play it more. So I'm hyped, I'm interested, and man, I'm happy that it's dropping in May 3rd. Now, I got a big question for the panel. We've heard, right? We've heard that after this game was gonna be announced, we've heard that a month later we're gonna get Starfield. Do you guys think that's true or not?
I think Starfield's coming in August. I've said that all along. I think that if we were going to get it at the first half of the year, and I don't know if you guys have been watching Xbox Infinite, but me, Infinite, Umbra are on the same side, and Risket is on the completely opposite side. He thinks it's a big L for Xbox if Starfield doesn't come out in the first half of the year because they break that 12-month promise. I don't really care for that. I mean, I just don't care as long as the game is ready and it's finished and it's in a great state when we get it. I don't really care when it comes. But my point has always been if they're not going to show it today, then it's just not going to be ready. I remember when they first showed Fallout 4. So they showed that at E3 in June, and then it came out, I think, sometime in October, and
October.
everybody was up in arms saying, oh my God, they're releasing it that quick and only a 4-month marketing campaign. And so I don't think they're going to do a less of a marketing campaign. Fallout is already an existing IP. Starfield is brand new. Let's face it, they bought Bethesda for whatever the $8 billion for this game. It's the next biggest game. Well, it's the biggest game Xbox has released since Halo. There's going to be so much hype about this game. It's going to need its time in the sun. And now you've got all those games at the first half of the year. Then you've got Redfall in May. The acquisition will most likely, or we'll find more out about it. So they've got June for Diablo. July is still too early in the summer months. I don't think we typically see summer games releasing, and so my theory is sometime around August, maybe early September.
Hmm. How
Um,
about you? How about you, Sour?
I personally, at first I thought it would come in the first half, and I do think it's sort of a L if it doesn't, because the whole showcase they did, everything shown here is gonna be shown within the next 12 months. But I think it would be a bigger L if the game releases within that window, but then the game is full of bugs and it doesn't deliver. That would be a much bigger L to me. So I think
100%.
it's much better that if they need to delay the game, then delay it as much as possible and make sure the game comes out the best possible. Because like Jedi Knight Peter said, this is probably the biggest game that Xbox has released, like exclusive. This might be the biggest release ever. So you got it. Especially, they haven't delivered so far this generation in terms of first party. So you better make sure you get this one right.
How about you, Silent? I know Silent. I know where Silent is going, but Silent, say it.
2025.
yep. I'm no, I'm more realistic than that. I would argue that I'm fairly realistic with these things usually. I would say if there was anything, I'll be the grouchy old man, but I'll say November 11th, 23. They move it directly a year from what it was originally, or they do it as November 23rd. But 23rd, I think, would be a mistake just because you're right there before Thanksgiving. So 11th makes more sense to me. But I very much agree with Peter on this. Is like the advertising train, the ramp up for this thing hasn't even really fully begun. You're going to want to put a lot of support behind this because you realize that it's a high, like it's a top tier game for your system. You want to try and get as much out of this as you can. You want to make a lot of traction with this game. I think it's an L. Yeah, honestly, for me, we've talked about this in the past, but I hate release dates if you can't follow through with them. Give me a release window. Tell me it's coming 2023 or tell me it's coming 2024 until you can give me an actual date.
Yeah.
Until then, shut your mouth and just go about your business, do your dev stuff. And when you have something you can actually provide me as a valid date, then we can talk. But I hate when someone gives me a release date and then has to keep rebuffing on that and changing it. I'm all for the updates and them trying to fix the game if there's more that needs to be done. But don't give me, I don't care if it's because of the shareholders or any of that. I'm a gamer. I don't care about the shareholders. I care about the game. So whatever release date you give them, that's fine. But I don't care about that. I just want to play the game.
Silent.
My big point is, especially in this day and age, if a game shows up, but you only get one chance to make a first impression, and if a game shows up bad, you know the toxicity of social media at the moment. The negativity just weighs down the game heavily, and on a brand new IP, I don't think they can afford that. So just get the game right at launch. I know Todd Howard and his team is working with the actual technical guys that made the Series X to get the most out of that platform. Let's face it, the first time they showed the game, it wasn't optimal. It was running at 21, 22 frames, dropping frames. We are in an age where that is just not acceptable. I don't even think 30 is acceptable. Todd Howard scared me when he said that he likes to play the game in 30 frames. I felt he was making excuses. I truly did. Yes, visual fidelity is great, but there are ways around that. There are checkerboarding techniques, FSR, VRS that will basically boost it. It will look like native 4K. It doesn't need to be native, but it needs to run at that stable 60. That's the most important thing to me. I think it's incredibly important that they do that. So I think you might be right. They might push it all the way back to November, especially if we don't see anything out of Hellblade. Now, I expect Hellblade to be launching in that period. They do need a Christmas seller. They need a reason to get people to buy it, and put it under their Christmas trees and, that Thanksgiving period. So if we don't have Hellblade or we don't have another big IP at the end of the year, maybe they do hold it back till then. And I wouldn't think that that's the worst thing they could do as well. I really don't.
Sourblow, you're gonna say something because I have one more question to ask, but go ahead, Sar.
I just wanted to say about the whole date with Silent. Crazy Luke can collaborate with me on this. So basically, the whole November 11, 2023, and then you said it could be 23. I don't think it would be 23, 23, like November 23, 23, because the main reasoning is because, like, for example, in United States, first you use the month, then the date, and then you use the year. But for example, we live in Dominican Republic. In Dominican Republic, well, we are from Dominican Republic. Dominican Republic, you do the opposite. You have the date first, then the month, and then the year. And he
like normal people.
Yeah. He kind of expressed that that's a reason for, for marketing, that it's kind of better because it shows on every side of the world basically the same date. So
yeah, he's always been very focused on doing those. Like, he's always very quirky with the dates like that, but he plans them accordingly.
Yeah.
And it always works out well for him. So
yeah, there's a date in March that NASA typically launch a lot of their missions from. I think it's the date that the Wright brothers got their patent for their flying machine. It's a very, very important date. NASA use it quite extensively. It would have been a great date to launch it, but I just can't see it being ready by then.
What date is that?
Oh, I think it's around March sometime. I can't remember.
It was I thought it was March 3rd, 23, or March 3rd, 2023 is what the idea was they would launch on.
Maybe we get the event that day.
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, I would say that's way more realistic than the game releasing at that point. I think anyone who thinks it's coming out that soon, I love you and I appreciate your enthusiasm, but I think you're incorrect.
Yeah.
So so here's my final question for the panel, right? And we did not talk about high thing. What was it?
We're,
High
we're,
five,
we
high.
were getting there.
Oh, that was
Crazy.
actually the
Hi-Fi
next
Rush.
one, but you started asking
Oh,
questions.
Yes.
oh, my bad. Can I ask this question though? One last question.
Go ahead.
Or should I wait till we finish to high five? Let's get the
Just
high five game done, and then I'll ask that question. Go for it. Go for it. I've written
all
down.
right.
Go for it.
All right. So we're going to bounce on to the last one real quick, which was Hi-Fi Rush, which we won't talk a ton about, obviously, because as we discovered, it is available now. You can go on, you can download that game right now on your Xbox. It's sitting right now, if I remember correctly, it sits at $29.99 if you decide you want to buy it, or you can get it on Game Pass. It is free on Game Pass right now as well. So Tango Gameworks is the studio that ended up doing this one. They surprised viewers with the announcement and launched a never-before-seen game, Hi-Fi Rush. Unlike anything previously released by Tango Gameworks, Hi-Fi Rush is an over-the-top single-player rhythm action game in which the entire world moves to the beat. Players can take the role of, probably going to butcher this, Chai, a free spirited slacker with rockstar ambitions, whose music player is fused into his chest. He must defend himself through rhythmic combat featuring licensed tracks in iconic rock bands, including Nine Inch Nails, Black Keys, with help of motley crew of allies. So yeah, again, this thing's available right now. So we won't touch on it a ton. You know, like if you're listening to this now or later on, like this game is available right now. Go give it a shot. The reviews so far from what I'm seeing on the store look pretty good so far. And the feedback I think even Pete was mentioning is he thinks it's pretty cool. But Pete, do you wanna touch base on this one and let people know what you think?
Yeah, I downloaded it straight after the show. Took a little bit for it to come up, I think 10, 15 minutes. So me, Boba, Infinite Umbra, KJ all tried it out, and we all thought it was actually quite good. The combat system is interesting with the having to go with the beat. I was just getting into that. I would have preferred if they didn't do it that way. I think that's the only gripe I have for the game. The cell shading looks cool. I really do like the art style. The movement seems fluent. I haven't played it enough, but Boba just came into the chat earlier and he says the more he plays it, the more he likes it. And I typically trust his judgment. So all I can say is it's free on Game Pass, guys. You know, we got a surprise drop. We didn't know what was going to be on the show today, and this was a little bonus. Give it a go. What have you got to lose? You know, you're either going to like it or you're not, but it's free to try.
Yeah, I think you bring up a really good point with that is like we got a surprise on this. And this honestly goes along the line with what I've said a lot recently with some of this stuff is, you know, under promise and over deliver, right? And that's exactly what they did with this. They came out and they said, hey, check this out, this is available today. Like they didn't touch base on this previously. We had obviously heard inklings and rumors that this thing was going to happen, especially I think just yesterday someone broke the news, which is always a bummer when that happens this close to the event. Is like, don't be a knucklehead, just like keep it a secret and let it be a cool surprise to people. But they did under promise and they over delivered in regards to a cool surprise like that where it was a shadow drop. Crazy. What's your thought on this? Are you excited? Have you tried it yet? What's your take?
No, I've not tried it yet. I mean, when I saw that, I'm gonna tell you something though. This was something super amazing. I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Well, I'm always wrong sometimes. You know, yeah, I'm always wrong. But you know, but I was gonna say though, have you guys ever seen a showcase where the shadow drop a game like this? Like, boom, it's right there. You know?
I mean, they're bench
Uh,
shows. Yeah.
No, but
There
I'm saying
have.
I'm
It's
saying
been
a
a
brand
while
new
though.
a brand new game that I'll be honest with you. Have we seen something about this or heard
Yeah,
something
they
about
did it
this?
with Bleeding Edge, I think.
Yeah,
So they have
yeah.
been known to do it.
Oh no,
Um,
but we knew about Bleeding Edge, but about this one, did you guys heard? I mean, this was the first time I actually heard about this game. I don't know if you guys, I could be wrong though,
Yeah,
but
Infinite Umbra did put out a tweet yesterday, I think from Idle Sloth,
yeah,
saying that there was going to be a Tango Gameworks game shown,
yeah,
but it was very late, Louis. Like, you're absolutely right, mate. Like,
yeah,
this was kept under wraps, and the
yeah,
guy actually alluded to that when they announced the game. He was saying that I hope it hasn't, nothing's been shown. So, although we knew the game was coming, we knew nothing about it, and it was a great surprise.
yeah. And like I said though, we did not know nothing, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you're not playing a demo, you're not playing nothing, you're playing the full game. I was like, what? That was for me. That was the top of the line of that show. Really, a game the same day that nobody talked about and nobody knew about. Okay, we heard about the Tango Works, but we did not know this game was actually in the works till today. This was amazing. This that was pretty cool. Really cool that they actually did that. That was actually a surprise, big surprise for me that they did this in this developer direct. Am I hyped to play it? Hell yeah! We have played. All of us have played. What was it? Hellsinger? Is it Hellsinger?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, Metal
Yeah,
Hellsinger. Yep.
Metal Health
Metal
Singer.
Hellsinger. We love to play these games on the beat, and man, this looks interesting. Really, it is. Can't wait to jump on it.
Sour, are you have you already set up your Xbox to start downloading it, or are you gonna do it right after we get done here? What's your take?
Well, unfortunately, right after this, I gotta do some editing. but but I do want to. I definitely want to jump into the game. This game, as soon as I saw it, it screamed Sunset Overdrive for me, and it was the game that I truly enjoyed. Like I actually, the first game I played, on an Xbox console was Sea of Thief, because that was the game that brought me into the console. But then one of the first games that I actually tried was Sunset Overdrive because someone recommended it to me. I don't remember quite the person that recommended it to me, but I played that game and I fell in. Actually, I think it was either Stalker or Rand that I heard talked about this game, and it really caught my attention. And then I started playing it and I loved the game. I beat it on PC, and then I beat it again on console. So I'm definitely hyped for this game. And like Lou said, it has a mechanic kind of like Metal Hellsinger, which I just remember when Lou was talking about it. I just remember I was playing the game, and I got to the final boss. And I haven't gotten back to that game. I didn't even remember that. So thank you, Lou, for reminding me. I gotta go back and beat that boss.
Same here. Same here. I'm in the guy before the last boss. So yeah, I have to
Oh no, I
go
got
back
to
and
the
do it.
final boss, and he gave me a little trouble. Like I died like 3 times, but then I haven't played since, so I'm probably gonna die a few more times now. But yeah, I mean the game is amazing. I'm gonna wrap it up and talk about my general take on the showcase itself. I thought this showcase was amazing. The first thing I loved was the quality. Like even when the developers were there, you can see it was high production. You can see this was in the work for a long time, and they kept it secret, so pretty good for them. And then I love that even though you do hear the developers talking and you do see them, which I was kind of afraid, but I was afraid that you would just see them talk for like 5 minutes and then you see some gameplay. That's something that, yeah, we don't want that. But I really enjoyed the way they cut it together, where you see the developer, but then you see larger amount of gameplay, then you may see different developer, because it's nice to see the people that actually are making the meal, the people that are the chef that are really cooking it, and you see the passion behind them, and you see them trying to sell you their passion, their game. So I thought that was pretty neat. I did not like that Forza didn't have a date. That was something I did not like, because I feel like you know you should have a date for that. But I do gotta say that at least they did compensate with high rush. Hi-Fi Rush, which was something that we weren't really expecting till unfortunately it got leaked the day before. But we still, we hadn't seen the actual game, so as soon as I saw the game, it looked pretty good. So I hope they keep this up, just like last year E3, which wasn't their strongest E3 for me. But I think the format of it, of showing us what we're gonna see within the next year or so, even if unfortunately, there will be delays, but at least we know what to look forward to in the roadmap. I think they should keep that same format for E3 and then give us, every quarter you can give us one of these developers direct.
Yeah, I think I'm right there with you on that. Pete, what was your overall take from the show? How you think they fared overall?
Yeah, I was going to say that was incredibly well said, Sourblow. Um, I loved how they showed the developers as well. It does show you their passion behind the game. Their eyes, everything they say about it just sells the game better than anybody else could. So, yeah, well done to you. Very, very well said. I give the show I'll give it a B plus, just because we didn't get a date for Forza. I think that they need to be doing more of these going forward. I loved the way they did it. I mean, if you think about those stupid 4 hour Twitch streams that speak for 4 hours and then give you 5 seconds of gameplay, how much better is this? I mean, it's a million times better. I think that the amount of gameplay they showed was spot on. I think it went for about 45 minutes in total, which was long enough. We got a secret drop. Forza showed incredibly well. So did Redfall. Elder Scrolls, I don't really care about. Minecraft, I don't really care about, but they both showed well. So kudos to Microsoft. I hope they do more of these going forward.
Yeah, yeah. Crazy. Same thing for you, right? Excited.
Yeah,
It's the path forward, right?
yeah. I mean, that's something they delivered. They actually did a pretty good job. And I'll be honest with you, okay? I'm sad they did not make it for the Game Awards, but hey, for having this 45-minute showcase, I mean, wow, it was amazing. They took deep dives into it. We were happy just seeing all this stuff. Of course, when I saw that Forza didn't get like the date, I was like, man, I was a bit mad about it. But then like later on during the day they said, oh, we're doing a deep dive tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay, we're starting with this whole deep dive thing like Forza Horizon used to do. Probably sooner or later we're gonna hear about the date, which is pretty cool. So yeah, they actually did a really good job with the showcase. And like I said, the shadow drop thing was just for me top notch thing. I did not believe they actually did that. A game nobody taught. No, it's like nobody ever knew about this game. All of a sudden, boom, you just placed it there. It's here. No demo, nothing. Full game today. Wow. It's just been a crazy showcase. Really awesome. A for me. Top notch. Can't wait to the next one.
Yeah, yeah. I would mirror a lot of the things that you guys said, but I think the things that I would probably say to close this off is, Microsoft, if you're listening, which they're probably not listening to me right now on this at the moment, but if they hear the sentiment, which I can tell from everyone I've seen online so far, from some of the stuff I've seen, some of the coverage, the feedback is this is the course, this is the path ahead to follow with, like this is the way to do it.
This is
Bringing
way.
the devs in, yeah. This is the way. Exactly. It's just like, you've found it. And I was a little nervous because when we were at the video game awards watching that stuff, I was afraid, when we found out that we were going to have this show, I was afraid it was going to be rushed as a reactionary to the fact that they weren't at the show. But based on how they put this together, the editing, everything that they clipped together, like you guys said as well, it was well orchestrated, well put together, well placed, well paced. Everyone in it was really, really good at what they were doing with it. They delivered the points very well. The footage was great from what I've seen so far. Microsoft, this is how you do it. Now, We've talked about it in the past. I've talked about it previously of communication, communication, communication. Continue to do this and do it on a regular cadence. Do it once quarterly if possible. Get us in there and just show us a little bit as to where the team is at. We don't need a big deep dive or anything like that, but provide us something to give us an idea as to where these guys are at. It helps us feel like we're more involved with what's coming, and it gets us more excited and keeps it more on the radar as time goes on. So
So
that's, yeah.
before we land, can I ask this final question? Because I have this question in my head and I actually want to hear your opinions real fast, real quick. Can I do it?
Real quick, I just want to make sure that we aren't keeping Pete up too late because I
Okay.
feel like we've already kept him for quite a while.
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm good, guys. It's like 1 p.m. Go for it.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Okay.
My question to the panel is, right? We saw these games with the detail and everything. I mean, I'll tell you something though. These games look awesome, wonderful. They look fantastic. So my question to you guys is, with what we saw today, do you guys feel in terms of quality, right? Is Xbox ready to compete against PlayStation in terms of quality with these games? You know, I I, I would like to hear your thoughts on that.
I don't think they're quite ready yet. We haven't seen enough. We really haven't. The proof's always going to be in the pudding for me, and the pudding is coming. It just depends on whether they hit or not. I mean, we need to see Starfield in action. We need to see Hellblade in action. We need to see Avowed in action. We need to see Fable in action. I think only then can we answer that question. Now, I have very high hopes. I th- I really do. The teams behind them, they seem to know what they're doing. They seem to be hitting all the right notes. I mean, the dates are a little bit skewed, but I do give them a little bit of leeway because of, we're just coming out of COVID and all that nonsense. People are just starting to get back into work, in person. But I just don't think that can be answered yet, Louis.
All right. How
Yeah.
about you, Sarah?
Yeah, I kind of agree with Jedi. I think they still need to show more, but I also hope that trying to, deliver like these high quality games, they don't try to copy Sony and, just bring us third person action or, third person action adventure games and just bring us one type of game. I like that their games are diverse, and I also like that they bring basically this generation, at least it looks like they're gonna bring the two main genres that I love, which is RPGs and first-person shooters. So I think I should be covered as long as they bring out great quality games. So I do like that they're taking their time with their games, and I think you know even though they have taken their time, but being that these games have so much into development, I think from now on we should see the wheel continue to spin, and we should see a new Xbox, hopefully.
Yeah. How about you, Simon? What do you think, though?
I think I'm gonna expound a little bit on what Peter said. So I agree with him, but I'm gonna expound on the food metaphor, and I'm gonna say yes. Like these games are cooking, they're baking. We're starting to see the process. We're seeing that they're on a good path. But at the same time, we've seen things like this before where someone suddenly inserted a random ingredient that no one wanted in the equation, right? Like it's like EA when they decided to do all the loot boxes in Star Wars Battlefront 2. The game is not to us yet, so there's still plenty of time for something to happen. Hopefully they take the feedback and they don't pull some knucklehead move, pull a Jamie Oliver and add like chili jam to pad thai or something like that in the midst of a cook, right? Like don't pull some sort of nonsense like that. Don't add some ingredient that we don't want. Just try and stay as true to the game as possible, the vision as possible. Don't deviate. Don't try and fix something if it's not broken. So yeah, I think they're on the right path, and if they continue on this, I think all of us as gamers are going to be pretty happy.
I thought you would have gone more barbecue than silent, you know?
And any opportunity to throw Jamie Oliver in the bus for throwing chili jam in pad thai. Mm.
Uh, well,
Um, all right. Well, yeah, I think it's time for us to take this thing in for a landing. So, Crazy, why don't you go ahead and wrap things up for us?
all right, all right, all right, all right. It's been one fantastic show today, and I want to thank first things first our guest. Thank you, Jedi Knight P, for coming onto the show, brother. Really, we really appreciate it. We had a lot of fun with you. So, Jedi Knight P, tell everybody where they can find you, brother.
Thank you guys for having me. I love this show. I think I've been watching you guys, as much as I possibly can. So I really appreciate being invited. Thank you, Crazy. Thank you, Silent. Thank you, Sourblow. I had a lot of fun today. You can find me at Jedi Knight Peter, everywhere, Twitter, Xbox. And you can find me on Xbox Infinite at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We do the show with Brisket for the Biscuit, Infinite Umbra, and Doom Cutie. We love talking gaming. We love this community, and we're doing what you guys are doing, and loving it. So thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Jedi Knight P, really for joining us, man. It was a lot of fun. Sour blow. Tell everybody where they can find you, brother.
All right. Well, you can find me on Twitter. You can find me on Xbox, Sourblow18. Um, also, I would just want to say real quick, Jedi Knight Peter, it's been a blast, hanging out with you. Thank you so much for coming. And for our listeners, if you're on YouTube, just so you know, we are experimenting with an audio version. We had our first episode from last week released on Spotify, so you can follow us there. XBI Podcast, you can look us up, and hopefully, tomorrow again you will have this episode up and running. So I'll do my best on that, and we'll see. Every week, hopefully, we will have the episode the next day. I'll do my best on that.
All right, Silent Cypher, brother. Tell everybody where they can find you.
So first, real quick, before I tell everyone where they can find me, I do want to just say shout out to Pete. Thank you so much for being on the show, man. It was great to be on your show back in the day with Risk It and everyone, and so it's great to have you again, have a conversation with you about gaming. It's been far too long, so I'm glad that we were able to get it to work out so you could come hang out with us this evening. Um, in regards to what Sour was just saying, in regards to our audio podcast version of this, I just want to shout out Sour for this. It's a big thing on the back end to put these things together and to edit, go through, and actually post his audio. So props to him. It's a lot of time that he sits there in front of his computer tweaking it. So if you get a chance, listen to it, check it out. He puts some hard work into it. Any views, any listens is always appreciated. But as always, like, shout out to the chats. It's been phenomenal this evening. It's great to see a bunch of familiar and new faces. As far as where you can find me on TikTok a lot more, Twitter, and hopefully I'll be doing some audio, some VO and stuff maybe on Fiverr here soon. I was hoping I was going to make a jump onto that sooner, but unfortunately, this last work week or so has added some new wrinkles into the chaos for the last couple days. So I've been a little bit more busy than I anticipated. But yeah, keep an eye out for me. You'll find me around on the interwebs.
All right, all right. But before I tell everybody where you can find me, chat. You guys are awesome. You guys kept this chat rocking and rolling. Really thank you all for hanging up with us this week. You guys, like always, are super great. And like I always say, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and also hit that bell so I can't tell you when XBI podcast content goes on. And yeah, you guys, remember. Let's go. Let's rock and let's get crazy. Yes, I will see you all next Wednesday. Bye bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived at our destination. For your safety and comfort, please remain seated with your seatbelt fastened until the captain turns off this live stream. On behalf of Xbox International, I'd like to thank you for joining us on this trip, and we're looking forward to seeing you aboard next Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.